So, hello, hello and welcome, Ms. Mridu Sahai. I'm the founding member at the Design Village Noida, alumni of NIFT New Delhi and UCA UK. So, welcome, ma'am, to the Thoughtful Leaders series. Yeah. So, should I start with the questions, ma'am?
Sure. Please go.
Okay. So, the pandemic has unfolded the systematic and strategic shortfall of most Indian educational and regulatory agencies. Where do you think the problem lies?
I've been thinking about this question actually. I think one is to do with scale and the other is to do with population of our countries. So I think these are challenges of scale and population, but in India, we also have a very traditional mindset. Education in India is still looked at with a very traditional lens. I know, I'm not trying to say, of course, the new education policy really helps to liberate and open up the environment. But yeah, as a mindset, we are hung over by degrees, we are hung over by qualifications, we are hung over by traditional teaching methods, the hierarchies that exist in the educational system. So I think that somewhere really shook us in the pandemic, especially through the regulatory and the governing bodies. But I think it was a good way to make it, stop and pause and to reinvent ourselves. So yeah, in a way, it was a very, very interesting way to shake things up.
COVID-19 has ill-impacted all sectors, including higher education. How has the Design Village Noida adjusted to that? What is your vision in the near future for the Design Village Noida?
I would like to believe, so TDV as a curriculum, we designed our curriculum in collaboration with a lot of international professors and predominantly from the Netherlands. And one of the basic premises was that education is too stereotyped and too siloed. And believe you me, at TDV, every year we update the curriculum and the kind of designers we want to make are very adaptable and very agile. And for example, currently what happens is that everyone wants to get into a specialization. But the designer of the future must have a skill set and a mindset that is extremely versatile. And the reason I say that is, okay, for example, currently people may be studying leather design. But in today's world, if you are if you're a compassionate and courageous human being, you tend to not make that choice to use leather. So, the career becomes redundant. So no longer are we at least at TDV, we want to help students have a versatile skill set. And that's why I would like to say that we transition very beautifully. We also have a very a great mix of young and senior professors. And that mixes, and all of them have very, very, tier 1 international and national education and really believe in this idea of versatility. And that's why we were able to transition so beautifully online. It was literally overnight where, they are closer to the generation of students. So you understand the mindset, you understand what platforms can be applicable for them. So whether it's Miro, Mural, Slack, of course, your Google Meets and Zooms of the world. But I think we really very, very beautifully transitioned online. And it was a very refreshing disruption at the Design Village. And yeah, for the future, what I would envision is that we will definitely look at a hybrid model of learning and not something which is completely offline. In design, I do believe you really need to be hands-on and you really need to come to college. But I think this whole thing about, hybrid learning is the future at TDV.
It really truly sounds dynamic, ma'am. What will be the major post-COVID developments in the Indian higher education and management studies? What are some of the major challenges you see both for higher education in specific and the Design Village in general?
Mm, in an Indian context, what I would say is that post-COVID, of course, what COVID has done is also made people a little lazy because you can learn from your homes.
Yeah.
I know that's a little bit of a challenge for people to come forth and come back to campus. But so I think, getting them back to campus will be slightly a challenge. But other than that, optimizing efficiencies, whether, how are you going to run your campuses, it's going to be in a totally different way now. Of course, technology will play an extremely crucial and an important role. Like I said, at TDV, we really took this to the next level where we had at least 10 international professors from across the world giving lectures at lockdown and COVID times to students. So that is one thing that we are going to look at. The other thing I think is travel. The world became so small and suddenly now it's become large again because people will be concerned on, how travel is going to pan out. But I don't think it's going to be dramatically different. I think we will have our learnings in place. But I don't think physical interactions can be completely, at least in design, I don't think they can be completely replaced with online education. And frankly, they shouldn't.
Yes. There are concerns that online education and fashion programs may not achieve the optimal learning results. How is your opinion? Can universities, institutions build a blended course delivery module?
Yeah. So, in TDV's context, and I keep coming back to us because, we are a design school with an alternate philosophy. So we are a design thinking school, and a lot of emphasis is laid on the process and, of thinking and rationalizing rather than on just the manifestation of, a product or a service. So I think programs like fashion it's a very, very good moment in fashion because you really need to relook at consumption. We've been mindlessly making, and especially to the students at TDV in the fashion program, are very conscious and thoughtful about this entire reality that, when we go to the landfill nearby in Noida,
yes,
the most polluting industry is fashion. And what must a student of today do in the entire chain to be able to, tweak that? So, but that was there even post-COVID. Yeah, but from a technical point of view, we are not here to make tailors. We have enough of vocational training happening in our country. So students at the design village in the fashion program, of course, work very closely with the machines per se, but it is not the end all. I think thought process is equally important in this. So fashion, you can get your own machines at home. You can do so many different things, but I don't see it as a very big challenge, frankly. In the world of fashion, half the people are self-taught and they do a very good job out of it. So I don't think it's going to be a very big challenge.
Okay. When this pandemic ceases or peters out, the industry will rush to normal. What is your opinion will be some of the in-demand fashion and design specialization? Will the demand shift to niche than regular specialization?
So like I said, the demand is what we were also trying to create at TDV is going to be for versatile designers who can transition from one career to another or have a broad outlook of what can be possible, what should be possible. So it's not just a person who's doing only menswear, because that is just too niche in an industry which is, thriving. I am sure there is place for designers like that, but I think the designer for the future is an agile designer, very open and makes the most of change. So that is what I would think.
Okay. How does the Design Village Noida help their students to discover their potential and success in today's global business scenario?
Very interesting question. So I don't know if you know, TDV currently is housed in a Katha factory. So we are a design firm that started the institute, and we completely rejuvenated the Katha factory, which was polluting the area, and that's why it was shut down since 20 years. So we said, what are the new potentials of this space? And I don't know if you can see behind me also, there is one particular patch that has been preserved, which is literally bleeding Katha. And we use this as an artwork to remind us of what the space used to be and what is the potential of space. So in TDV, the space is a teacher. You know, the environment that you come in. So like we say most of the times that when you come to TDV, either you love it or you don't understand it. So I really think that the space, of course, our international network, our revision of the curriculum at every moment, there is extremely high focus on elevating and maintaining the sanctity of the academic rigor. And I think those things just make us, special.
True, ma'am. Being the founding member, academic and external affairs for the college, how do you strategize about the key programs and plan for the administration of the college?
So the way we currently work at TDV is not a very, we are a very niche school. We are not a very huge school. Our appetite is, not more than 150, maximum 200 students per batch. And, so from that way, we've organized ourselves into three main categories, which is, one is the academic, then is the operation, and then the outreach. But again, whenever we have a new program, because we are in close proximity with the industry across, we have a design firm across called RCOM. We really, it's always a juggle between, hey, what does the industry want? What are we teaching? Does it feed into it? Normally what happens is everything happens very sequentially, you study, then you go to an industrial environment. But at TDV, we want to consciously make it parallel. And that learning is completely different for students. So yeah, whenever we have a new program, it's usually a dialogue between the industry and the stakeholders at the village. And yeah, then we develop curriculum for it with our international partners, because we have a lot of aligned minds overseas. And because there is such a lot of variety of, from architecture, urban design to, fashion, product, interaction, as well as design thinking, we have that entire gamut. It's very, very easy for us to, it's not an administrative challenge because our scale is not that big.
That's interesting. Okay. With the economic slowdown, the passing batch will be entering a tough job market. Any advice to the students on it?
It's so funny, we have, I think around 40 students that graduated during COVID because they, the year semester.
Yeah.
And I just took a session with them on, what do they want to do and all. So I think 5 of them have gone and gotten admission internationally, and they will be joining in September. And the rest of them knew so well what they wanted to do and didn't need help. So I maybe for, maybe because they come with a very versatile skill set, that's why it is the reason, or maybe because our numbers are small. But currently we haven't struggled to get our students placed at all. They have all been able to manage to find employment themselves. And like I said, because we are in an industry environment, half of the students either, have found synergies in the ecosystem, or, we have a very good network. So it really helps. But for the job market, I would say that, yeah, we should look at macro, at the macro picture and like maximizing your skill set rather than trying to say, okay, I can only do one thing. So if you're a graphic designer, it is nice to be a good content person and to be, familiar with digital marketing, because that skill set is more employable than just being a pure graphic designer in an industry.
Right.
So that's something I would, that's just a small piece of advice to students.
But you must be very proud.
Oh, I'm very, very proud.
Yeah. So I really, really want to thank you, ma'am, for taking out this time for this interview. And yeah,
my pleasure.
And can I just get the introduction?
Oh, sorry, what introduction? I'm not aware of.
Sorry? A brief introduction?
My introduction or TDV's introduction?
No, your introduction.
Okay. So I am Mridu Sahai and I am an interdisciplinary designer. I work with an architecture practice in the capacity of a partner while running a design institute that I help to initiate called the Design Village. And I believe in design making an impact for the society and cutting across all silos and all sectors in the world. So yeah, that's me.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. It was great interviewing you. It was a great experience for me as well.
My pleasure.